Welcome to my new abode.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah.
I like it. The layout's super nice.
So we're recording in a new space. If it sounds different, that's why. But
Deal with it.
deal with it. Yeah, exactly. All right.
It's great. We're in the middle of Oakland, California.
Yes, we are now.
Smack
Usually
dab
we're
in the
coming to you
middle.
from San Francisco. Today, Oakland. I feel like I'm very echoey.
We're getting cooler than ever. Are you going to try your righty downy thing or no? Just
My righty downy thing.
where like as we record, you just if there's a problem, you write it down so that you don't have to edit. Twice.
I don't know. I don't know where any of my writing down stuff is right
It's
now.
okay. Just an idea.
We could try that later. I just am
Up to you.
I'm not organized enough to know where paper and pens are. Because
Papers
I'm
and pens.
literally, this entire weekend I've been pulling stuff out of boxes and putting it on shelves. And so
It's looking really nice
all
for
very
only what?
disorganized.
You've only been here, 2 days?
Yeah.
3 days? It looks fantastic. It looks
Thank
better
you.
than most people after a month, I think.
Well, I've been putting my daughter to work building furniture for me, and she's done a great job.
Just confess to child labor directly into the microphone.
No, we talked about this. She accused me of child labor earlier, and I'm
Okay.
saying that's only if it's not my child. If
That's
I make a
true.
different
That's
child
true.
labor,
And you're not paying her.
if it's my child, it's just called chores.
That's true.
It's
That's
easy.
true.
And she goes, well, what if I get one of my friends to help me do the work that you assign me? And I'm like, well, then that sounds
would
like
be
you're
bad.
guilty. You're guilty of child
You're
labor.
doing child labor.
I'm not.
in a Tom
Right.
in a Tom Sawyer kind of way.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
painting this fence.
like, you think you got me, but I got you back.
So Scott,
Yeah.
it's no mystery to anyone listening or anyone who knows you for even a minute that you like movies.
What?
You like movies,
Don't
Scott.
tell.
I like
people.
movies. I like movies too.
I do like movies, yes.
What is it about movies? Do you think if it was like the 1800s, you would just love the opera? You know?
I
Like,
think so.
would you-
I think I like story. I mean,
Okay.
before movies, it was, or not before movies, but also it's been comic books and regular books. I like story. I like stories. And so
Yeah.
opera would be, I think humans are hardwired for storytelling.
Yeah.
And so I would have been into whatever formula,
Yeah.
I would have been into the Dickinson period serialized, like in the newspaper novels, piece by piece. I would have been into whatever I could get. Yeah.
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 Do you buy into the kind of like, archetypes, like stories are, there's these
The
classic-
Joseph
Joseph Conrad.
Conrad's.
Do you kind of like that?
Hero's
or buy into
journey.
That? Yeah. Is there a sort
I
of
think there's-
standard story?
yeah,
Or
I
is
mean-
it more dynamic than that?
Watching, the standard, like there are definitely exceptions to every rule and stories that don't follow the rules that are wonderful and work well. But, like if you're writing something, following those rules is a good structure.
Mhm.
Having like a 3-act structure or, the rising action, falling action, like the anatomy of a story thing
Mhm.
is, I think it's a good starting point to write stuff on.
Yeah.
But you don't have to like, if your writing goes a different way, that's fine. I
Okay.
think I've seen weird movies that I love, and I've read weird books that I love
That don't follow that.
that don't follow that.
Like District 9, the hero is like a total anti-hero. He's like a total loser.
Mm.
Right. Yeah. It's
I
like a
don't-
very different story.
It's been a while since I've seen that one.
Oh yeah, that I always think of that one as like a really different, because most stories it's like the hero is this admirable sort of guy, but the main character of District 9 is just
Real
this-
despicable.
He's not
human.
despicable, but he's just a real limp loser kind of guy who can't get his life together, can't get the girl, can't do anything. But then he transforms into an alien.
I should
kinda-
rewatch that. It's been a while.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Charlton Copley, I think, is the main actor.
Yeah, South African.
Yeah.
He's good.
And who's that director? The guy who
Don't know. We'd have to look it
my
up.
Gosh, it was. And then he did Chappie, and then
Yeah,
he was
Chappie's good.
he was on tap for an alien thing, but I can't remember his name.
Chappie's
Neil
really-
Blomkamp. There it is.
Neil Blomkamp.
Neil Blomkamp. or something.
Blomkamp,
Yeah,
oh.
something like that.
So the reason why I bring up movies is because it's not only movies, it's really like all ratings. You could use this for food, you could use this for anything, but we don't. Okay, should I tell you the solution?
You're like, all right, I use my thumbs, okay? And if it's good, I point them up.
But
and if it's bad,
yeah.
I point them down.
Yeah, and if it's in the middle, I point them in the middle.
And I'm like, whoa, okay. This is how you're
Hang
going to do it?
on to your seats, because this is going to
No,
rock your world.
what is your new rating system?
Okay, it's not a new rating system, but it's used in another environment, but it should be used more broadly. So in the world of marketing,
Mm-hmm.
product design, product marketing. So if you're like a product marketing guy or girl
Okay.
in like a tech company,
Yeah.
you will use a thing called Net Promoter Score, NPS.
Net promoter score.
Net Promoter Score.
All
and
right.
And I believe I learned about
How
this.
good you are at promoting things on the net.
Are you good at promoting on the net or not? Dude, do you know Bob? His NPS is off the charts. He can promote things on the net so well.
Pre-online, it was the paper promoter score.
Yeah, PPS, yeah. Now it's NPS, yeah. So it's very common. Like anyone who's done anything with like products or tech or marketing, they know this word, Net Promoter Score.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that we should use it for, especially I think for movies, but I think we should also use it for restaurants and pretty much anywhere where you'd see like a 5-star review. We should replace that with an NPS score. And that would give us way more information about how good it was. And it would be a stiffer, harder bar to get over.
Okay.
And that I think is good because then it leaves room at the top for the absolute greatest.
All right. Well, I got to find out what this is, but can I rant on the 5-star system for a
please.
second?
Yes.
Because they're
negative rant, I hope.
like a something out of 10, and they're like, no, I like a 5-star system. They're like, but you can give people half stars. So I'm like, it's the exact same
That's
thing.
10. Yeah.
That's the same thing as
Yeah.
scale 1
to
to 10.
Yeah.
Or now it's like 4.873 stars. So I'm like, why don't we just make that a percentage?
Yeah.
Why are we playing with this 4.89 out of 5 or whatever?
Yeah. It's because you
All
only have 5 fingers on one hand.
Well, I have 2 hands though.
And take off your shoes. You got 20. Do you want one?
I don't have
0
20.
out of 20.
I would never take off my shoes. I refuse. How dare you?
I'm with you. Yeah. And we'll get into actually how you can generate the Net Promoter Score out of existing 5-star reviews.
Okay,
So
so
you can
what is
actually
this-
generate the NPS.
What is this NPS?
And
What
I've
is
done it for a few movies that I've prepared to talk about.
I mean, the only NPS I know is Neil Patrick Harris. But what is the NPS you're talking
That's what I'm talking about. The Neil Patrick Sayers score. NPSS.
Oh, I was so happy when I thought of that. I couldn't wait to get it out. It's so stupid.
Yeah. MBS, the murderous Arabic leader.
Oh.
Yeah, who killed Khashoggi.
Bin Salman.
Yeah,
Mohammed
bin Salman.
There you go.
There you go. So we get an MBS score.
Cool. Let's make
How
that.
many journalists
Let's make that
have-
guy an enemy.
How many journalists have you murdered?
Why don't we name drop some podcasts?
Yeah, more murderers. What other murderers should we include on the
People who have
podcast?
successfully silenced other journalists.
Yeah, Slobodan Milosevic.
Yeah, can we just add ourselves to your list of bad names, please?
Yeah.
You got any room there on your slot us in there?
Or John Oliver just did an episode on McKinsey where he revealed that McKinsey at one point actually did a report for MBS.
Now, McKinsey was the guy who was telling people how gay they were or not, right?
What?
On his scale. He's
No.
like 1 to 6.
I'm talking about the consulting company.
Oh.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about there's this Dr. Kinsey, the Kinsey
Oh,
scale.
okay. Is it a gay scale?
Yeah, it's
How
like
gay you are?
yeah, it's like how between like 1 is like completely straight and 6 is like completely gay,
Is his
or
first-
the other way
Is
around.
his first name Chad? Is he?
No, there was like a whole movie with Liam Neeson.
Oh, right. But he just
Kinsey?
did sex in general.
Yeah, I
But
think
then
so.
he also had a homosexuality thing.
Well, he had like a thing. He's like, nobody's a perfect
Totally
1 or a
straight.
perfect 6.
Yeah.
Everybody's like
yeah,
a bit of, like somewhere on this scale,
the Kinsey scale.
the Kinsey scale.
That makes sense.
Sorry.
People say that.
It was a dumb joke. Go ahead.
People
What
say
is
that.
McKinsey?
Anyways, McKinsey, John Oliver revealed that McKinsey did a report where they actually pulled social media people who had criticized MBS and gave it to MBS. It was like really bad.
Yeah.
It was really bad. It was really unethical. Clearly an unethical thing to do.
Wait, John
But-
Oliver did the unethical
So maybe
thing?
No. He reported that
He
McKinsey
reported- okay.
had done that.
Gotcha.
And maybe we'll be like on that list now because we just criticized MBS.
It feels like the only thing more dangerous than being the enemy of like a very wealthy murderous person is
Yeah.
like being their friend, because at some point it's going to go wrong, and then you're going to shift from friend number 1 to enemy number 1. Like you're going to bump
That's
everyone
true.
else on
It's
that
a
list
fast
down.
Move right.
Yeah.
All you have to do is say the wrong
Yeah,
thing.
we are definitely not. I mean, even if we're on that list, we are so far down.
Bottom of the
Yeah,
list.
exactly.
Yeah.
That I feel kind of safe in that I'll be seeing other podcasters get murdered
first.
Right.
And then we'll have some fair
Canary in
warning.
the coal mine.
Yeah.
Fool. Yeah.
Some fair warning.
But if you're a best friend and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, dude, you messed up my shoes. Boom. Now you're number one enemy.
You're right. It's like a knife's edge.
Don't.
It's a bone saw's edge right there with NPS.
Be careful out there if you're, super good friends with really powerful, dangerous people.
Yeah, careful. This is a good solution.
That's my solution.
This is the solution. Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah, bring them like pasta. Bring them stuff like
Bring
clams.
them pasta.
Clams.
Exactly.
Bring
Clams
them
and pasta.
stuff they like. Are clams halal?
Who doesn't
are
like
they halal? Or
Who
are they
doesn't
haram?
like clams? I don't think any seafood is
Seafood
halal.
or crustaceans. I think are halal are haram. I don't think you're allowed to eat those.
I don't think so.
Don't bring clams to mom.
Are you whispering that? You should be shouting that.
Don't bring them. Okay, so NPS. Sorry.
Yeah, what are we doing? Tell me. I don't even know how to make this.
Yeah, I'm supposed to start with the solution. I still haven't said it yet. Okay, so the solution is we should apply NPS to like ratings of restaurants and movies and everything, but especially movies. We can talk about movies more, I think, because
Okay.
I think there's other things to be said about movies.
But what is it?
Okay, so the way NPS works is you ask people out of 0 to 10, which is the same as, like you said, same as 0 to 5 with half steps. So
Yes.
you can, but whatever. 0 to 10, how likely are you to recommend this to your friends, family, colleagues, contacts?
Okay.
And so you can do it with any product. You can be like, you just downloaded the Lyft app or whatever. How likely are you to recommend the Lyft app to other friends and family and colleagues?
Okay.
10, 9, all the way down to 0.
Right.
Okay, so then that scale breaks up into 3 categories. The promoters, 9 and 10. Neutrals, 7 and 8. Passives, neutrals, 7 and 8. Detractors, 6 and below.
And the one metric is how likely are you to recommend it to
your friends, family,
mutuals?
colleagues, people,
Yeah.
That's your one question. You've probably encountered this where they ask you like that just one question in an email, or they'll ask you 3 questions, but that's the question they actually care about. They don't care about the other ones.
Okay.
Marketers really care about this NPS question.
Uh-huh.
How likely are you to recommend? So if you apply this to things, okay.
Now I have the power.
Yes.
When they ask me that question, I'll be like,
0.
wouldn't you like to
Yeah,
know?
right.
Oh, what are
Yeah.
you going to tell? What are you going to do
What
for
do I
me
get out of it?
to get my answer? Hello.
Yeah, they will want
now
you
that
to
I know
do
that
it.
this is what you want.
That's exactly what they want. So the way it works, there's a little bit of math afterwards. So it's called the net promoter score. So what it is the number of promoters, the percentage of respondents who are promoters minus the percentage of responders who are detractors.
Got you.
So passives don't matter.
Got
So
you.
for example, if 100 people respond and they all respond 7 or 8 except for 1 and it responds positive promoter, then the net promoter score would be 1.
So for every yes, absolutely, you can cancel it out with a no way.
Yes.
And then
And the passives just
the idea
take
is
away from both.
you have to have enough votes on the yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So it goes from negative 100, 100% of respondents respond as detractors, to positive 100, 100% of respondents respond 9 or 10. And then anywhere in between. It's an extremely difficult scale. So generally people believe that anything above a 70 is absolute world class. Like it's almost impossible to get an NPS above 70. That is like that is like batting, 500 or something. Like you are way off the charts good.
Be batting 700, right?
Or whatever a good batting average is. Yeah.
It's a batting average that's out of 1,000.
Out of 1,000, yeah, right.
But it's the same.
Yeah.
Base 10.
Right. It is like batting averages. But then even above 0 is good. Like if you're above 0, that's okay. Negative is bad. And really negative is really bad.
You got a problem.
So it gives you this huge scale of negative 100, really bad, to total stinkers, all the way up to 100, like God parted the clouds and put this on earth, whatever it is, like just amazing.
How many people do you need to formulate an NPS? Is it
it's
does it
statistics,
10 or are you looking to 100 or 1,000 or just however many you can get?
I mean, if it's a blockbuster film, you need at least a few thousand.
Well, sure.
To get it's just a statistical relevance, right? You need, what is it called? Isn't it called statistical relevance?
But you have to get that many people to like watch the movie.
Yeah.
And then
if you have like an
feedback.
app that you have like, maybe you're going to have 10,000 users, then you'll only probably need 200 to give you, and then you'll know.
Gotcha.
You just need whatever the statistical relevant know
Or
that it's
maybe,
gonna
I
be.
mean, like somehow this is how they do it with like Rotten Tomatoes, where they're like, we'll get as many good ones as we can get, and then we're going to be like, good, stop, don't get any more.
Oh,
Lock it at 100%. It's 100% right now,
yeah. See, that's stupid.
or whatever.
But that's the problem. Okay, so this is the problem. The problem is we don't review movies properly.
No.
I think
no, definitely not.
they're way inflated high. Everything is like a 90 on everything. You know.
Well, the Rotten Tomatoes score has a problem in its own because it just means people, that percentage of critics or that percentage of users go, yeah, that's good, as opposed to, no, that was bad. And they're like, well, if 100% of the people go, yeah, that's good, then it must be 100%.
Yeah.
And you take that going like, oh, it's everyone rates it 100% of the best movie ever. It doesn't mean that. It just means it appeals, mass appeal to everyone go, yeah, it's good. But it could just be like moderately good. Whereas another movie that you would find to be like amazing, maybe it doesn't connect with everyone and they get a lower score on Rotten Tomatoes. That's why Rotten Tomatoes feels like a weird metric.
Yeah. Rotten Tomatoes also has, because it's like a critic metric,
Yeah.
it has all these like weird inside baseball thing. I'll just come out and say it. It's like very politically correct. Like if a film comes out that's about like minorities and stuff, then it's like off the chart, 100%.
Like Minority Report.
Yeah, that was about minorities, technically speaking.
It's a good movie.
Not that I have anything against, like stories about. I don't. But the problem is, it's clearly like weighed more heavily in favor of sort of, culturally leading.
Are you accusing it of Rotten Tomatoes of being woke?
It's woke.
Woke
I'm
tomatoes?
I'm going on the charts saying Rotten Tomatoes is woke.
We are making enemies.
Rotten Tomatoes has gone woke.
Oh no,
it's not good. But I mean, I don't really care necessarily as long as people's biases. There's a bunch of biases, negative and positive.
Yep.
So against and for all kinds of different things. The point is to have a system that eliminates all those biases or works all those biases out.
Like that PC bias or the woke bias or whatever. It kind of fires up as a response to this crazy toxic the other version that comes out.
Like a bias against
So the Marvels,
progressive stories.
the movie The Marvels just came out.
Yeah.
And it is like there are corners of the internet on Twitter anyway that are just like convinced it's going to be the worst movie. This is pre-ever it showing up and anyone seeing it. They're like, worst movie, it's all based on hogwash, this nonsense.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you've decided you're going to hate this. They're like, because it's all women and this thing and that thing and girl power. And they're like, I'm like, man, you can enjoy stuff. It's okay. By the way, I went and saw it.
Man. It's
went and saw it. It was great.
Power,
I had a great time.
Okay, great.
Had a great time.
Great. So NPS fixes all of this. NPS doesn't necessarily fix wokeness. You could still have that bias, but I think it. The way you pose the question, would you recommend this to your mutuals, to other people, and then your scoring. The scoring is really interesting because like if you say 7 or 8 out of 10 customer satisfaction, that's pretty high.
Yeah.
But NPS, it's neutral. It's nothing. It's a 0. It makes it so that it's a much stiffer and real rating.
The other thing about the recommend metric is that like when someone just asks you, was that good or bad, or did you like it? You're like, yeah, I liked it. It was good.
Yeah.
So there's not really that much skin in the game. If you're recommending it to someone who like, and they come back and they're like, yo, that movie blew. Why did you make me do that for 2 hours? You kind of like, you eat it a little
really
bit. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
it's a different bar where it could be like, I mean, I liked it, but I'm not going to recommend it to my friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that sort of thing.
Yeah, you might say, well, I liked it, but actually I wouldn't recommend it. Or
it puts your skin in the game.
I'd even have an 8 out of 10. I would recommend it. That's still a 0. So there's a really, really, what it does is it really, really rewards the absolute best movies.
Right.
And then it doesn't, which I think is accurate because that's the way we think about our movies. Like we think in our minds every day about the best movies we've ever seen.
Yeah.
But we totally forget the mediocre movies we've seen. We don't think about those every day.
Well,
and the bad movies we also don't think about.
Movies used to have the ability to come out and find an audience via word of mouth and get legs and then go. You know what I mean? Like you get a movie that comes out like My Big Fat Greek Wedding and like people start talking to each other about it and all of a sudden it's in theaters for like 6 months. You know what I mean? Like just continuously. That doesn't happen now. You don't get a chance. You have to hit the ground running with your debut. And if you're a smash, you can keep going. But
Oh, I didn't know that.
you don't, if you're not, they don't let you build anymore. If you're not making money in the theater, they're like, boom, you're out in a few weeks.
Whoa.
And you don't have a chance to find that.
That's
now
interesting.
happens
Yeah.
on streaming or on like video. Like that's how people do word of mouth. And it's there long enough that
It builds
things
up.
can become a phenomenon that didn't start out as one. You know, people, things can find their audience there, but they don't have a chance in the theaters anymore, really.
Okay, so someone on Reddit. So I Googled all about this, and no one has really applied this to movies, except for one guy on Reddit
Okay.
did a survey for all the Star Wars movies ever made.
Okay.
And he did the NPS score, and he got over 500 responses on each movie.
That seems like a
So it's a
a
lot.
good community to get them to like fill out responses and try to
Yeah.
accumulate data.
Okay, so how many of the 9 movies, or how many movies are there? 1, 2,
9.
3, 9.
10. Are we counting Rogue One?
Rogue One's in there.
Are we counting Solo?
Solo's in there.
That's 11 then.
So is Clone Wars and the Attack of the Clones.
Those are TV
the Clone
shows.
Wars is a movie. Attack of the Clones is a TV show.
The Clone Wars is a movie?
It says the Clone Wars movie.
Oh.
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, so out of these 10, how many you think are positive, above 0?
I'm going to say 4.
Close, 5. But
Okay.
Rogue One was only 6. Rogue One's on the edge.
What do you mean? 6 out of
6
out of 100?
Out of
Oh, so
negative 100, 200, out of 200. I mean,
Between 100 to
between
negative
negative-
100,
yeah.
it's 6.
6.
Okay.
7.
Rogue One's one of the better ones. What?
Revenge of the Sith, 9. Return of the Jedi, 26. Star Wars, A New Hope, 56.
Okay.
And Empire Strikes Back got an 81.
Well, everyone
So
says
Empire
they
Strikes
love-
Back is
they love that one.
is
People-
is God level.
People love a Yoda,
Yeah.
right?
People love a Yoda.
Especially Italians. They love a
Italian
Yoda.
Yoda. Okay, so all rest negative. Last Jedi, negative 23. The Force Awakens, negative 29. Solo, negative 45. Phantom Menace, negative 51.
Wait. Roll those bottom 5. I was thinking of Italian
The
Yoda.
last Jedi. The Last Jedi.
When the 900 years older you reach, look at this good you
No.
will not. Smacks you with a pan. You're like, dang. Italian
A
Yoda.
rolling pin. He's making pasta in
Debunk.
Dagobah.
Scaboots.
Welcome to Dagobah. It sounds kind of Italian. Anyways, so The Last Jedi, negative 23. The Force
Last Jedi is
Awakens,
negative 20.
negative 29. Solo, negative 45.
Okay.
Phantom Menace, negative 51. Rise of
Oof.
Skywalker, negative 61.
Wow. Rise at the
But
bottom.
these are Reddit. Okay, so I have a way.
First of all, I agree, that Rise had some moments, but boy, did it go off a cliff.
So I have a way of doing this better, though. So Reddit, is going to have a certain slant,
Sure.
obviously.
And that's going to be kind of a self-biased group of people who
Yeah.
are already Star Wars fans.
Yeah, and they're going to be, OG Star Wars fans, not just like objective. Okay, so let's do
I
Rogue.
started at Phantom Menace. And
So
I
let's do Rogue
refused
One.
to watch the others.
Okay, so I can calculate the NPS for any movie
Okay.
using IMDb. Because if you go into IMDb,
Right.
you can actually tap on the ratings.
Sure.
Rogue One has 67,000 ratings. Okay,
Yeah.
and they're all 1 out of 10. So you can calculate the NPS
By
very
doing
easy just by looking
10
at
and
it.
9,
Yep, 10 and
then
9.
8 and
Yep.
7, and then,
Yep.
like grouping them
Yep.
together like you were saying.
So you can see on IMDb.
What are the groups again? 10 and 9?
10 and 9 are the promoters.
Yeah.
7 and 8 are neutral or passive.
Okay.
And then 6 and below is detractors.
Ooh.
So you add up all the 6 and you can add up all the 6 and below. Those are
Yeah.
the detractors, which it looks like is about 80,000. And then you add up the 9s and 10s, which is about 220,000. And then 7 and 8s, the majority is like 330,000. So about basically about 50% are passive. So it's between the other 50 is positive and negative, and it's about 40% positive and about 10% negative. So it's about 30. And on IMDb, Rogue One is a 30. Still really high.
I don't want to tell you your business, but you could write a program that
Yeah. I know.
asks the API and then turns it into an NPS score for any movie.
I know.
on
And
there.
then you would actually know. So I think when you look at this distribution and you think with the lens of NPS,
yeah.
I think that gives you the most accurate measurement of if this is a good movie or not. Is it a good movie or not? You know what Rogue One is? It is a 30. It's exactly a 30. out of from negative 100 to 100.
Okay.
It's not an 80. It's not an Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
Which you can find the same thing on this.
Rogue One's great. It just leaves you like hollow
Everyone
and
dies.
soulless. Yeah.
So if you do Empire Strikes Back and you do it the same thing, it's got 1.4 million reviews, and it's like there's almost no detractors. It's
no one's coming to the IMDb page for Empire Strikes Back to be like, I thought it was a 1.
Yeah, well, it looks like 19,000 people said 1. So
lightsabers in snow, no thank you. I like my lightsabers warm.
So NPS can be
what's that
derived
creature
from
that he like climbed inside of the stomach of?
And I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
The people who are like conservationists for that, they're like, I do not like watching that get killed.
Get sliced in his belly. Yeah, I think they're called tauntauns.
Tauntauns. There you go.
I know some sci-fi. I know some Star Wars.
You told me that was not sci-fi.
No, it's a space opera. It's not hard.
I called it sci-fi and you said no.
It's sci-fi.
Look at you.
I was just being a turd.
Hypocrite.
I was being a hypocrite turd. A turdocrat. Turdocrat.
So I thought, that helps me out because there was one area I thought this might fall apart, which is, being able to translate the star ratings into it. That works good because it'll let people be honest without having to be like forthright. Because if someone's calling you on the phone, would you recommend this to, or filling it out, that falls apart when it comes to like adult content where you're like, I would not recommend, I don't want to tell my mutuals what my adult content consumption, but they'll have stars and stuff, I'm sure.
As long as you do the half star, you can determine the NPS.
Boom.
So it's basically like we could convert,
or even you don't even have to, because the two chunks, I mean, 10, 9, 8, 7, and then 6 and below. That's 5 stars, 4 stars, and then 3, 2, and 1. I mean,
you're
it translates.
Absolutely right. It translates.
You don't even have to have a
10
10.
Stars.
It works with 5.
Oh my god,
dude! You do that
nice
with
math skills.
Uber. Thank you.
Dang.
Thank you.
Yeah, you could do it with Uber. You could do it with Airbnb. You could do it with
anything.
Yelp. See, that's the thing. We really need it for restaurants. Restaurants have a bunch of other problems, but
would you
this
recommend
would be a baseline? A baseline thing would be the NPS. Because right now, if you look on Yelp, everything is like between 4 and 5 stars.
Yeah.
I mean, it all just resolves to basically 4 to 5 stars.
Well, doesn't it just only show you that stuff? Like, it's not trying to show you. It's not like, look at this one. Look at this place is 1.3. Yeah. You want to laugh at that, or you want to check it out?
Help yourself.
I mean, Yelp is
Food
trying to
poisoning.
serve you stuff it thinks you're going to want. It's not trying to point and laugh at anywhere.
That's true. But if you convert it to NPS, there would be a range between 4 and 5 stars would be between 10 and 100.
Yeah.
It'd be this huge range.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Which would give you more information than just
way
like
more information.
4.2 stars.
Yeah, or they're all 4.3, they're all 4.2. Yeah. It would give you like this huge range of like, oh. And restaurants would be like, oh, we got a 30, we got to get to like 35. But that leaves 65 extra points where you could fill up, if you got, I mean, Yelp has the additional problem that you have these, I think they should break it apart into 2 scores.
What do you mean?
Food and ambience. Food and ambience.
Okay.
It should be split in 2. The fact that it's not split is insane.
Because some people will go on there and trash a place. They're like, the food was fine, but
ambience was terrible.
And then the other people
the waiter
will be like,
mistreated me.
It's such a beautiful space. I mean, or the
whatever.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And if you're doing like a brunch for your aunt, maybe you don't care if the food's good. You want the ambience to be really nice. But if you're going to go and just like fill your face with food and you don't care if the waiters are like cursing at you, then that's fine too. You know what I mean? You could pick. But in Yelp, they just lump those two together and it's clearly idiotic. Like it's clearly not a right choice.
Although, I mean, if you have a nice ambiance spot, get your food right? I mean, like people are coming here. If people are coming there to sit in your room, at least give them some good stuff to throw in their face.
Something to nosh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I mean, to me, food is way more important than ambiance.
Yes.
I don't care about ambiance at all.
Give me a hole in the wall that serves me the most amazing thing.
And I'll go there every day.
I mean, the best ramen I would ever have would be from like weird trucks in Japan in the middle of the night. Just like you stop in and there's some lady in there who's like serving her 1,000,000-year-old ramen recipe. And you're like, this rules. It's so good.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Well, I like it. NPS. I can go with that.
Yeah, NPS.
The recommendation score.
There is a software opportunity here.
You can really, I mean, because there's
Yeah.
so much data available, and I think IMDb has an open API,
Yeah.
and you can just like ping that. I don't know if they have limits on how many. There's a lot of movies out there,
You'd only need to calculate it once
but
per movie,
IMDb
and then you
covers.
could save it.
Yeah, it covers.
Yeah.
But it could keep updating if it
You
pings
could,
it.
yeah,
But
it could keep up.
it covers
yeah.
TV shows and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I originally thought
that'd be interesting
yeah.
if you would find. Because sometimes you look at the rating, you're like, "What is this?" Like you watch something and you still look at the rating, you're like, "Oh, well, where
This
did that
is
come
too
from?"
high, yeah.
But maybe I wonder if you would see more correlations with an NPS score, where
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, now
Yeah.
I can kind of lock in
So-
on this."
Here, pick a few movies and I'll look them up and we'll talk about what their NPS is.
Okay,
because I think one thing that's cool about it is that it for movies that people are like, yeah, it was okay, it would be like a 0.
Yeah,
So, for example, we argued about Barbie being good or bad.
we did.
Yeah,
Wait, did you say it was bad?
I didn't see it.
It's good.
Okay, but here's the thing:
Barbie's
it's a
great.
controversial movie, right?
Is it
Yeah, it's controversial about whether it's
only
good
with
or bad.
dum dums?
A bunch of people thought it was bad. A bunch of people thought it was good. Okay, but guess what?
Let me guess. Were they
Guess what?
sourpuss men?
Guess what? Its NPS would be almost a 0, probably almost negative, a little negative,
All right. Well, then that's flawed.
because it's.
Look at that bar on the ones. Look at all those
I
haters.
know a bunch of haters. There was haters.
They
for
think
Barbie.
that's a what? You tell me those are real. Those are not. Those are like hate ratings.
I
'Cause
mean, okay,
there's no
okay.
buddy who
People
watches
can hate
that.
the movie. People can hate movies.
No, I'm saying, but you watch it and you go, "That's a 1 out of 10."
The question is, would
You're
they?
like, it's a
the
well-made.
The question is, how likely would they be to
It just-
recommend
it
it
just
to their
anchored them.
mutuals?
yeah,
They wouldn't. They're 0%
'cause
likely to
they're
recommend it.
sourpuss idiots.
Yeah,
who-
just
who-
saying,
full of
it doesn't
sourpuss
matter.
friends.
You can't lie. It
That's
doesn't
great,
lie. The
but
data doesn't
what I'm saying
lie.
is, it's a professional movie filmed with like
Okay,
top
but you're talking
top
about
level
quality
cinematography.
of
Yeah,
movie.
hold on.
But they're
But I'm
talking
saying
about whether it would recommend. They'd
For
recommend
a 1 on a scale of 1 to 10 on that IMDb, I'm gonna see a movie that's technically and like just every level bad.
Okay, in terms of IMDb, but in terms of NPS, it works perfectly because NPS is not whether it's a well-made or blah blah blah. It's just
Then
how
I'm off
likely
board.
are
then.
you?
If NPS gives
would be
Barbie a
to
0?
recommend-
That's ridiculous.
Well, it gives it like almost a 0
No, it's
or
just 'cause
something around a 0 because it's a lot of
weird
8s and
toxic
7s.
dum-dums.
No. Even if you took that down to like, even if you lined up the 2s and the 1s,
Yeah.
it would still be close to 0 because very few people, not very few, but like less than 10%
I don't like this game.
or 14% gave it 10, 10% gave it 9.
All right, let's
But
look up.
45% gave it 8 and 7. So most people thought, yeah, this is good, but not, it's awesome. It's amazing.
All right, so I want to look up the last one that I can think
Okay.
of that was like a
Okay.
hit, like a word of mouth hit that just
Yeah.
kind of grew and grew. Look up
Lady Bird.
the Greatest Showman for me.
Oh, okay. The grammar.
Yeah. Because that was one that just stayed in theaters and made bank week out.
People
just a
love
sol-
that movie.
It was never like a number one,
Okay.
but it was always like,
It averaged 7.5.
okay,
So right between
right between those
two. But it would be way positive. Way
Look at
positive.
that.
There's
Look at that distribution. People
Yeah.
love that thing.
It's way up. I mean, still 8 is still the number one,
yeah.
but 10 is the next one.
yeah, that would be
22%.
That would have a high NPS
so this
score.
would have a 30.
Because that had a huge word of mouth. Like people loved
actually, we
it,
can
went
just
and saw
calculate.
it.
It's so easy to calculate. It's
on repeat.
37.5% promoter, and it's something like 15% demoter. So it'd be like a 30
Yeah.
or
Very
a 4
cool.
or 25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So this is great. Perfect for movies. Again, for Yelp, I think if you split ambience and food, and then you did an NPS for both, that would be perfect.
That makes sense.
For books, it works great. Would you recommend this books 0 to 10?
I mean, you could do that with movies. Be like, did you like it versus was it a competently made movie?
yeah.
Because sometimes I'm like, you cannot give a movie a 1 if you're like, this thing was built like a machine and it works
Right,
really. Like,
right.
It works.
and you're totally right. From like if you were like in a film school and you were like, assess if this film was made
Right.
well, they'd all be 7s and 8s. I mean, they're all Hollywood professionally made films. You
Bro,
know?
I know a guy who will listen to a perfectly engineered piece of pop music like Mbop by Hanson and say that's bad. And I'm like, are you kidding me? It's
Are you talking about me right now?
It's created in a lab to be good. It can't.
But the question is
You found
whether
me
you
out.
would recommend it or not.
Yes.
And I would not recommend Mbop to anyone.
Well, then I don't recommend you to anyone.
Well, maybe if I met like a real bimbo guy,
How?
a guy or a girl who was a real bimbo, I'd be like, you know what? Here's a good song you're gonna love.
They're called a bimbop.
A bimbo.
Please
That's right.
use the right word.
That's
please.
right. Come on.
All right, NPS. I like it. So
NPS.
how do we get it to happen? We just
I
tell
think we
people
can make
about
some
it.
software about it.
Make a
So-
software.
So I have I have like a Firefox like browser plugin that when I land on Netflix, it adds the IMDb rating of everything on the screen
Okay.
to the bottom right hand corner.
So it's there.
But that's IMDb. So we
See,
have to create a new one for NPS. and it would
You
show
should make
the
a site
NPS.
that's called the NPS of everything, and it's got
Yes.
like a section that's
Yes.
IMDb, a section that pulls from Yelp, a section that pulls from
Amazon. We could give the Amazon
Nextdoor,
NPS. Yeah.
whatever open APIs are letting you
Yep.
ping them
Yep.
and translate their thing into an NPS. You can just have NPS of everything.
That's right.
Dot.
So I looked
com.
up a few of these APIs because I'm a software engineer. I did look up a little bit of this, and it turns out most of them will just tell you what the score is. They won't tell you the full percentage breakdown of every review.
Okay.
Even the IMDb API, I don't think gives you that. You'd have to actually scrape that page of every single.
You'd have to
movie.
go. Okay.
You'd have to go and actually scrape the HTML because it's there on the HTML, but it's not in the API.
Okay.
The API just tells you here's the score.
Here's
say
the
7.2
out
or
of
whatever.
10.
Yeah. And so you would have to scrape a little bit. But you could scrape pretty easily. All these sites aren't going to change.
Just write a thing that
Yeah.
says click into the one level deeper
Yeah, and
on
just
that
grabs it.
site's name or whatever, because
Yeah, yeah.
the API will have a link to the page,
Yeah.
and then you can tell it where on the page to find the thing to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
one level deep. Yeah, it can happen.
You could totally do it.
Listen to me, the person who doesn't write code, being like, "Yeah, it's so easy. It's so easy."
No, you're right, Code. You know what's up. Yeah, that's right. So that would be a good way to get it out there is to build like a Metacritic type website where
Yeah.
you just pull all the NPSs from NPS of everything. That'd be good. Yeah.
I like it. All right, let's get building.
I also think that there's
Any listeners out there, do not take this idea. We
Do
patent
not
it.
steal
This
it.
is making a podcast
You
is the
do
same
it.
as writing it on a piece of paper and mailing it to yourself. It's exactly the same.
we
We
will
own it.
get you. We will get you.
With the full might and power of the podcast.
Actually, I'd prefer if people could steal this.
Yeah, that's what we usually
I don't
like.
have time to do it. And I think it would be good for civilization. I think
All
that
right.
art is going downhill.
New announcement. You're allowed to
Movies-
steal
okay.
this idea.
Open season.
Go ahead.
I believe that we're in a dark age.
What?
I honestly think we're in a dark age. Low creativity, low innovation, low quality of art.
Yeah.
And I'll prove it to you. When Shakespeare,
Okay.
yeah, I'll prove it to you. When Shakespeare was alive,
Yeah.
there were only like a few 100,000 people who were literate in English.
Yeah, but he had no TikTok followers. So
It's a pretty good argument, I think. I think that's a pretty good argument to say that we're in a dark age because we have almost 1 billion people literate in English
Yeah.
and easily hundreds of millions phenomenally literate with enormous resources at their hands to create art and to create books and write things. There's a
Yeah.
whole industry of storytellers, Netflix and movies and Hollywood.
it's
and
everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Everything.
And we have whole people whose whole jobs are writers. They just went on strike. They
Yep.
all get paid full salaries to work all day long to write things. And Shakespeare's still the best. It's bizarre. It would mean if we weren't.
And he had range too. He
if-
was like,
oh yeah,
he was like,
Tragedy,
here's
comedy.
my really deep sonnet, and then like, a scene later, we're gonna have somebody like grabbing their crotch and like going, like, making fun of someone else and walking around weird.
Was that in the play? Did he write it as a direction?
I think so.
Grab the crotch.
Grabbeth thine own
Grabbeth
crotch.
thine own crotches.
He's got lewd stuff all over.
He's got
right?
tons of lewd stuff. Yeah, for the groundlings, right?
The improv troupe.
Well, they're called that because of Shakespeare's time.
What's that based on?
In the Globe Theater, there
Yeah.
was the boxes, and then there were the seats, and then
Yeah.
there were the no seats, the groundlings.
That's where
stood
that
on the
comes
ground.
from. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
The lowest humor was directed towards the groundlings.
So it's like a
All the
self-effacing
farts and
title.
burp jokes were all for the groundlings.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's self-effacing. Yeah,
Okay, now do Upright Citizens Brigade. Where did that come from?
that came from a bunch of white people hanging out with their cameras. I actually really love them.
They're fun.
Yeah, whitest
Okay.
people you know, also good. The whitest people you know.
It sounds
Kids You Know?
familiar. Is it a?
Whitest kids you know. It's a show from like the early 90s.
I don't think I saw
It's
it. It's
funny
probably on.
sketch.
It was probably
comedy.
a cable
Yeah, I
thing,
think it
and I
was
didn't
cable.
have access.
Yep. Yep.
Way to bring that up again. I
You
didn't have
can watch it
cable
all
when
on
I was a
YouTube.
kid.
I'll send it to
I
you.
don't have time for
YouTubes.
that. I have to unpack boxes.
That's true. Build IKEA furniture.
I don't even have a computer set up right now. I can't access YouTube. You're taunting me.
Taunt.
Oh, just like the thing in Star Wars.
Tauntauns.
The taunt.
The tauntauns. Anyways, I think it's cool. I think we should make NPS like the standard. That'd be awesome. I think it would save civilization.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
Save civilization. Why not?
Let's do it.
Everyone listening to this who's not doing it, you're dooming civilization. So
You're a doomer.
good job.
Pat yourself on the back.
But stick around for another week and we'll see you next time because we'll be back.
Yep.
That's how it goes.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Rate us 10 out of 10 for
Give us an NPS rating on
NPS.
Apple.
Oh, you can do podcast NPS too.
Oh my.
We got to get a 10. We have 100 right now because I think we have all 5 stars.
We're the ones out there rating ourselves.
So everybody come and rate us again. Give us 5 stars. We'll convert it into NPS.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
New ratings would be great. I could read them out loud if we want.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be fun.
All right.
All right. We'll do it later. All right. Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Maybe I'll get like a timer that runs up and I can see what the time is usually.
Yeah.
Because there are other models of the recorder that have like a lit up screen and colors. Oh my gosh. Oh no, I'm putting Adam to sleep. All right, so what should I subliminally? I was like, I should put some subliminal messages in your head. Watch more movies, eat more sugar, like cars.
Like movie. Wait, movies? I watch so many movies. I watched
What's the last movie
yesterday.
you saw in a theater?
It was a recent one.
Okay. Was it Oppenheimer?
I saw Oppenheimer, but I saw a movie since then too.
Okay, what was it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was at the movie theater.
I like
though.
movies. I saw one. It had lights and sound.
What are some movies that just came out recently?
That just came out
It
recently?
was at Alamo Square.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
I want to go to that too.
Past Lives.
Yes, I saw that one in theaters. That
It's
was
good.
good. That might have been it.
Okay.
No, I think there was one.
Did I nail
more.
it?
No, there was one more that was really recent that we went and see. It was good.
What?
I saw Maverick in theaters. Let's not rehash how
Nice.
stupid that is. Oh my god. I hate that movie so much. NPS of that down in the doldrums.
No,
Nothing.
that thing would be a crushing.
No, I
NPS.
don't think so. I bet it's negative.
Look it up. This
I bet it's
doesn't have
negative.
to be included, but look it
No,
up.
we can look it up and let's see. No, this is good. Okay. IMDb.
I can include this in the episode before.
Maverick.
I'll edit them together. I can
2002 Maverick.
show me that graph.
640,000. Oh yeah, it's super popular. It crushes.
That thing's gonna have 101
really
out of
crushes.
100 on the NPS scale.
It's gonna have like a 40.
A
Like
strong
a 45.
It's a strong
It really is
bar
strong.
graph right
People
there.
really like that.
And you're down there in that tiny little
I'm in the tiny little
sliver of
one.
ones,
Yeah,
just over there
0.8%.
hating on
I'm
a
a total,
piece of pure cinematic marvel.
It's the worst movie. It's got everything people want, though. I do love Tom Cruise.